So we're going to start a bit earlier, just to test the connection and make sure everyone is here. Then we'll start in 5 minutes. Let me see. Hi, Leen.
Hi, Khaled. Hi, everyone.
So I think we should wait 3-4 minutes before we start.
4 p.m. sharp. Yeah, sure.
I'm just glad it's working out. You're here early. This is good.
Awesome. Hi, Tala. I see some of my new students. Hi, Razan. Hi, Rhea.
We already have some questions.
Yeah.
One of them is about GYSD, so that's good. 2 more minutes before we start. 2 more minutes. So I think we should start.
Yep.
Well, hi everyone. Welcome to our live session today. Where Leen and I will be talking about global youth service there. We will share our experiences, answer questions. Just one point, we'll only answer questions about GYSD. If you have any other questions about the YES program in general, then you should go and ask the YES office in your country. We'll start by introducing ourselves. We would like you to start, Leen.
Sure. Hi, everyone. So my name is Leen. I work on the YES program in Lebanon. I've been working on the YES program for the past almost 5 years. However, I've been part of the YES program for almost 13 years. I am also a YES alumna from 2008-2009. So I really like this program. My heart is in this program, and I love GYSD. I think it's a very important topic that we will be discussing today, and hopefully we will be giving you some tips that can help you start your own Global Youth Service Day projects in your countries, and hopefully this will spread the word among the largest number of countries possible.
Okay, thank you. And I'm Khaled. Khaled. I work for Middle East Gaza. I have worked with Middle East in the scholarships department since 2007. YES alumni myself. I went to the United States on the YES program in the year 2005, 2006. And I stayed in a small town called Leavenworth in Washington State. After I returned from the US, I started volunteering with my YES peers and friends. And we did a service project through the YES program. I was committed and consistent. I'm proud to say that I've helped impact the lives of hundreds of people. I graduated university in 2011. I made administration, and since 2011 and until this day, I've been working on the YES program and other programs.
Okay. So today, as Khaled said, today we will be discussing basically GYSD, and we will be answering questions related to GYSD specifically. Again, as Khaled mentioned, if you have questions specific about the YES program or general questions, make sure that you address them to the YES office in your country. So let's start first by actually discussing what is GYSD and how is it celebrated among the world. So Khaled, would you like to share with us?
Yeah, sure. Well, GYSD is short for Global Youth Service Day, and it originally it was launched in the United States, and it's also known as the National Youth Service Day. It's basically a coordinated effort among young people from around the world, where they conduct community service and activities to give back to their communities. Each April, this GYSD takes place. This year, it will be from April 23 through April 25, so in 2 days, celebrate GYSD. And the good thing is, it has so much attention and a huge impact. More than 100 countries join and participate in GYSD, and more than 2,000 youth organizations to take part in this. Many activities are done usually by the alumni and other young people around the world. For example, they could, in the past, they had face masks and they donated them. They promoted healthy behaviors during the pandemic, for example. So those are two examples of things the alumni and young people have done celebrating GYSD. Do you have any examples of activities that have been?
Yeah, sure. Khaled, just before I state some examples, some are saying that if you try to put on earphones, maybe they're saying, or I don't know if it's an internet issue. It's probably an internet issue since we are in the Middle East. So, but yeah, so some examples that we have specifically from Lebanon in celebration of Global Youth Service Day are large get-together activities and volunteer activities. So, for example, we had a huge beach cleanup that was done simultaneously across regions. We also have awareness campaigns specifically related to basically cleanups and recycling. The main activities have been focused on recycling and cleanup and the environment. However, GYSD is not really just related to these types of activities. It can be any kind of activity, and it can be small or it can be large, as long as it's serving the community in a way, then it is a celebration of GYSD. So, sorry, just wanted to point out also that activities that are volunteer, so if you're also participating in activities and you are not actually the one that is conducting this activity or implementing this activity, you can also be part of GYSD that way. So if you find an organization in your local community that is organizing a certain activity, I encourage everyone to participate in it, because it's a gateway for you to actually give you some ideas, and then you can start creating your own ideas for activities later on.
Thank you, Leen. I put my headphones on, so I hope this will help with the sound.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it was an internet issue, but right now it's not glitching. So hopefully, and please, if anyone missed anything during Khaled's part, please let me know and I can repeat for you. No problem.
Yeah, and I could repeat that if you guys want. So just comment or say it, and I'll do it. Okay, thank you, Leen. So if a person wants to embark on their GYSD journey, what 5 tips would you give them to get involved?
Great. So my tips for creating a successful and implementing a successful GYSD activity is basically just as I would say for any type of community service activity. The top 5 tips are: first, plan and organize. So it's very important that you get together with a group of volunteers, or even just your peers at school, or even at university, at your alumni network, and start brainstorming ideas of what the local community is in need for. So, for example, it can be an environmental idea. It can be a idea that helps underprivileged kids, or even just underprivileged people. It can be an idea of implementing change, governmental. So start brainstorming and then start organizing those ideas and put them into a clear outline with a specific timeline and target goals that you would like to achieve. My second tip would be to create subcommittees. So once you have the plan of what you want to do, it's very important that you start giving tasks, dividing tasks among one another. So for example, you can have one person that is responsible for social media campaigns to help people learn about the activity that you are planning. You can have a person that is responsible for outreach. So that person would be responsible for contacting people in your local communities. They can encourage municipalities, governments, or even NGOs to help you, support you, and give you access to resources. You can have a person who is responsible for finances, for any budget issues. You can also have a person that coordinates among volunteers. So once you divide the tasks, it would be much easier for you to know who is responsible for what, and it will be much easier to actually implement the project. The third tip is to search for local support, and that could be from either municipalities, governments, people who are famous business owners, entities, or even NGOs. And why is it important to get support? These organizations or entities will probably have access to resources in the community that you might not have as young individuals. So once you initiate contact with them, let them know about your project, tell them the importance of the project that you are implementing and the impact of it on the local community, then they will probably be able to help you with resources, even with sometimes financing, funding, or just open the door for you to use the resources available. And a tip here for how to contact those local entities. If you are finding trouble people responding to your initiative, you can go to your YES office if you are a YES alumni, or if you know a YES alumni who would like to participate in your project, you can ask them to get an official letter from the YES team that would basically just justify the activity that you are doing and would help ease the process of getting responses from these people. Now, the fourth tip is to involve community members. So not only to get support from entities, it's also important that you get more people involved. So GYSD is not just about individuals implementing projects. The whole point of GYSD is to have as many youth involved as possible, because the larger the number you have, the more impact you would have on your community. And in this way, you would also raise awareness about the importance of GYSD in your local community. Now, my last tip is probably the most important thing in any project in your life, which is basically to evaluate so that you can learn for future projects. So once the project is done and finished, you sit together as a team, you start discussing the successes, the challenges, the fails, and what could have been done better so that it would be better implemented for future projects. So these are my 5 tips. Khaled, do you have any tips for all of the young people watching us?
Yeah, sure, I do. What you said pretty much summarizes everything. I just want to add 2 points. If you have an idea now, do not wait. There is so much support around you if you are a YES alum specifically, because you can also the YES office that you work, they can give you resources, and there's always alumni grants available. And also for GYSD specifically, you can simply Google GYSD, and you will find resources on how to start and when to start. A great resource that we found was looking at the comments, I find that
Khaled, I think the internet lagged a bit, so if you can just repeat like a few seconds before now.
Okay, well, the last thing I said, that a really good resource to start your GYSD journey is if you Google GYSD and go to ysa.org, which is Youth Service America. That website has so many. Looking at the comments, people think that my voice is more clear after putting the headphones. So I could recap or repeat the part before this was what is GYSD. In summary, GYSD is Global Youth Service Day, and it is around the world in April. This year, April 23rd through April 25. Many young people from countries do and conduct community service and give back to communities. And you are invited and encouraged to be part of that.
Great. So hopefully that sums up GYSD for you. Okay, so I have an interesting question here. Someone is asking if a person is chosen as an alternate in the program, can they participate? Of course, here we are encouraging everyone, not even just YES alumni, everyone who is young, who is willing to help the community, who is creative and has ideas in supporting the community, you can participate. A little tip here to how you can, if you are willing to help but don't know how to, if you know anyone in your community who is part of the YES program, reach out to them and ask them if they are doing any kind of activity that you can be involved in, and also look for NGOs in your regions, in your small cities, in your towns, who are involved in the community. So any nonprofit organization that serves the community, ask them for a possibility of participating or implementing a project. Yes, finalists as well. So anyone who is part of the YES program and even not part of the YES program can participate in Global Youth Service Day and any community service project that is available in the world. So now that we talked about some tips, we know that now we are living clearly in a virtual world, and because of the pandemic, it's become more difficult to implement on the ground activities and be involved with the community in person. So Khaled, do you have any advice for the people that are watching on how they can get involved in GYSD, even though we are in a lockdown pandemic, and some of these people that are watching still to this day in a forced lockdown, how they can help?
Yeah, sure. I may have some internet issues, by the way. I hope this will go smoothly. Right?
Now we can hear. Yeah, now we can hear you clearly.
I would say use online meeting tools like Zoom for an expert alumna or alumnus could provide a training session on a specific subject for their peers. I mean, make that that's how we get connected. Idea to everyone energized, and also to break the routine is you could probably start an online daily morning exercise between the alumni, when one alum leads a session today on aerobics, for example, or an HIIT, head exercise, high intensity interval training. So we can use the pandemic, not use it. You can use Zoom to kind of break the pandemic through online virtual classes. We could also start campaigns to help people, educate people about the pandemic, about the vaccines, for example. And one great thing about this is you can plan activities with alumni from other countries. You are not limited to alumni in the region. You can expand. And this is not very difficult. If you get alumna or alumnus from another country, they can connect you to the whole group, and you can have one brainstorm. Yeah.
Great. Yes, I want to focus on the utilizing of Zoom. I think we all learned that it is a great tool, and any online platform really is a great tool that we haven't really looked into before, but the lockdown forced us to. It's a great way that you can connect with people from different countries, share ideas about GYSD, maybe see what others are implementing and try to implement it in your own country. I would also give an advice of to get creative. Just because you are not able to go on the ground and meet with people in person, you can still do activities at home. So I can give you an example of you can, for example, decide as a group in your own country to connect over Zoom and decide on an activity where you prepare a self-care kit, a small self-care kit that you would like to send to a certain elderly home in your country or in your region, and then individually, and then each person would share that and would send it through post to the elderly home or to the orphanages. So even though you can't go in person, and I know that the aspect of being in person is very important, and it gives you some sort of satisfaction to see people and interact with people, but you can still help the community. And I think the focus, or the thing that this pandemic made us realize, is that it's not we can't see each other, we can't support one another. In fact, it is now more important for us to come up with GYSD projects more than before, and try to get creative in the way of trying to implement these activities, whether it be just meeting and catching up with one another. Self-care is also very important during this pandemic, and it is considered helping one another. So just checking in on one another, checking in on the people in your community, trying to help in a small way always helps.
Thank you, Leen. So why should alumni get involved in GYSD?
I think it's clearly important because it's helping the community, and I think alumni, from the time that they go on the program and they are students, not alumni yet, and they experience community service in the US, they come back with all these ideas. So for example, I remember I barely did any community service before I traveled to the US, and then during the DS program, I started doing activities such as volunteering at an elderly home, volunteering at the local church, offering food for the underprivileged, also doing beach cleanups. So all of these opened my eyes to come back to my own country and work with the alumni network, so that to see what we can do to help our communities. I think it's very important that it helps the alumni stay connected in a way, but it also helps the alumni spread the word about Global Youth Service Day and the importance of giving back to the community in their own local communities. So by implementing projects, GYSD projects in your own communities, you are introducing the idea of community service to those that did not get the chance to actually experience doing community service before. And this has the what we call the snowball effect. So one person, one individual, one small group can implement an activity, and this activity can encourage more groups, and larger groups implement more activities. Khaled, do you have anything to add about the importance of implementing GYSD activities in local communities? I think the internet was lagging. I was asking Khaled. Yeah, that's okay. I was asking if you have any more input on, specifically related for the importance of having alumni being involved in GYSD.
Well, because I think GYSD is a great chance for everyone to give back to their community. And as yes alumni, you have a responsibility, a bigger responsibility towards your communities, because you went to the US, you learned really, really great values, and you should carry those values back to your home country, and you should give them back. And GYSD should be a motivation for you to be a part of a big group of society. We know that you have great ideas. We know that you can do many great, and you have all the support you need. You have the YES staff, you have organization, you have Amidis, you have iEarn, you have the YES mini grants. So you just need to start with an idea, and you will find the support to be a part of a huge group of social leaders that will change into a more positive one.
Great. And just wanted to give an example of how big an activity an alumni can actually implement. So basically, for example, I'll give an example here in Lebanon, where the alumni network on their own went to closed libraries that were abandoned and did all the cleanup, got donations of books, asked people for donations of books, and actually opened libraries. So activities can be as small as doing a cleanup, and they can go as big as opening libraries in poor regions. So keep your creative ideas open. Nothing is unachievable. Once you have an idea, as I said, discuss it in a group, try to brainstorm, and try to come up with a clear plan of how you are going to implement, and you will be surprised of the impact that you would have on your own communities. Because everyone, and I think this is the importance of GYSD, it shows you that everyone and anyone, no matter where you are in the world or how young you are, you have an impact on your community and you can help others.
Thank you, Leen. I think we should see if we have questions from the group.
Yeah, I see here there's a question that says, do you have any tips for making Zoom virtual GYSD events engaging?
This is a tough question because now people have but I think if you have an interesting idea and that would make the alumni more interested. We kind of addressed this point before among us staff. We want alumni to be part of the planning process of what they need, what training they need. So in that way, it's something that they want, they're interested in. So we just bring somebody to give them that course. So that's one thing. Have them be involved in the planning process for what they need. Point two, bring an interesting trainer, because recently we had Alumni in Gaza, amazing trainer, Lebanese, and they loved it. It was 6 hours, it was 6 hours, because he was engaging. He did so many activities. So involvement in planning, an energetic trainer with many activities, and somebody wrote Kahoot, and yes, Kahoot is a great idea. I have used that last Ramadan, last year, and it was very engaging and useful.
Yeah, so just to emphasize on what Khaled said, yes, it is very tough to have engaging, yes, or just any GYSD activity that is virtual. But as Khaled said, if you have an interesting trainer that is facilitating, if you have some sort of game, so I saw some of you that mentioned Kahoot, if you have really you can even do any physical activity, so you can start before actually discussing or implementing a GYSD plan virtually. You can start by having like a little refresher of physical activity. So you can start with a small session of Zumba, or you can start with a small session of a workout before you start the actual activity. And I think this would get people to be more involved and kind of feel like they are doing the activity in person. So again, and to really focus on the idea of trying to focus on the goal here. And the goal here is to actually have an impact on others and help others. So if you focus all of the activities that you are doing and all of your plans on that, I think the plan, the GYSD virtual activity will go smoothly. So I have also someone who are asking, I think it's yes. Yes, it's a yes finalist from Lebanon, actually. They're asking if they can volunteer in a dog shelter while in the US. You can do that even here. So yes, it is a GYSD activity. As you said before, any kind of community service activity is a GYSD activity. So even volunteering at animal shelters, at orphanages, at elderly homes, just bringing a positive impact into any part or aspect of your local communities is really worth trying.
You can basically do anything. When I was in that program 16 years ago, I volunteered at the fire station. uh, organize the pipes. Through volunteering there, learn so much about firefighting, and it's not as easy of a job as one would think. So yeah, you can do. I think having internet connection
Laura.
issues again.
Sorry, Khaled, you were lagging.
I was saying when I was in the program, I volunteered at a fire station. Through volunteering there, I learned so much about firefighting. The point that I wanted to make is you can do anything. Sky is the limit when it comes to volunteering, as long as it is something that is safe and will not cause you any harm.
And I also here I saw something that made me think. I think Lara and someone else were saying that they want to do a cleanup, and then Razan said I can join. So here it shows you even how you can encourage others and how you can utilize social media. We didn't really touch base on that, but now you can benefit from social media and how easy it is to advertise any kind of activity for free. Also one last tip is to use social media to inform others and encourage others to be involved and volunteer in your community service. So here we're just chatting, and we have people who are wanting to be involved in other people's activities. So that's a great start. Let's see, do we have any more questions?
I'm scrolling through them.
It's really nice to see how people are so excited to do community service activities.
Yeah. Well, if anybody has any questions, finish the session, you can always reach out to your local YES office, and they will be able to help you out in regards to the YES program. So I think before you have the resource there to help you, you just have to reach out.
Yes, and as I said before earlier, try to reach out to not only the YES team in your countries, but also to alumni who you know from your own regions. We know that alumni are spread in each country among different regions and different areas. So it would be the easiest way to start is to actually reach out either on social media, or if you know someone who knows an alumni, reach out to them and initiate the idea. Don't wait for people to bring you ideas and tell you, would you like to volunteer? We know that everyone has creative ideas, so we encourage everyone to reach out and initiate and do as many community service activities as you can. And as many volunteer activities as you can. GYSD is just a one-day celebration, but the activities that are related to GYSD can be implemented throughout the year. So don't wait for GYSD celebration to implement activities. We encourage you to implement activities as many as you can and throughout the year.
I totally agree with you. You can always do activities throughout the year, and you don't have to wait for GYSD. But since GYSD is around the corner, I should it and do something to give back to the community and try to change the world.
Great. So I think that's it. I'm not seeing any more additional questions. We would like to thank everyone who joined, everyone who participated. Also, if you would like to share it with others later on, please feel free to do so. If you think that this could help anyone with their planning of community service, please do so. Khaled, any final words before we wrap up?
No, thank you so much for attending. This was very interesting, and we hope we were able to teach something about GYSD, and we hope to see you again. This video saved. You can always watch it again.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.